What is going on, everyone? Anthony here, and welcome back to another breakdown. But this time, it is a screenshot breakdown. We got a couple of new images from the press release that Capcom posted a couple hours after the event. And let's take a look. The first one here looks like it is on a pathway to the village where the dead carcass was in the middle of the pathway. This actually does really show off the environments and how the lighting with this engine and the graphics that they can use nowadays compared to how it was in 2005. Obviously a very big difference, and we've seen the progression of the RE engine each Capcom game, really, that's been, in recent years. This is a great example, and it looks like they still have the creepy imagery, like the pagan imagery and the stuff that they have with the Los Illuminados. It's very enriched in that, and I also hope that the lore keeps with that as well. And this is a great shot that shows a lower lighting that we saw. There were a couple daytime shots that we're going to see coming up, but again, you can see the reflection in the water. You can see the light beaming through the shadows of the trees. I mean, this looks really good, guys. So that's just the first screenshot. And again, some of these are different angles that were even in the trailer. So, of course, I always like to cover them. The next one up here is right where we saw Ashley in front of this gate with the broken down wall. If you look up in the trees, the crows are here. Will they drop money? Can we throw a flash grenade and get all the loot? Well, that's what we used to do with the crows in Resident Evil 4. So I wonder if they, may attack or might have some kind. They might just be there in the background, but I like their presence here. And again, it kind of plays with the lighting. It also plays with the environments, because if you look at these trees, we've seen similar trees like this in, Village, but they definitely have, even with the trees that are kind of wrapped in the lettering of the brand new Resident Evil 4 logo. This is kind of like a common theme, like just a bunch of trees, woods. Even the original Resident Evil UK artwork showed the Chainsaw Man in the woods. And I thought that was always creepy imagery. And I really think that this is a cool little entry point to what we're going to be getting into with the environments. This right here is a great shot next to what it looks like the bell tower that you'll probably have to ring with the Chainsaw Man. And this is the village that Leon runs into in the beginning. It looks very similar, and it has the placement of almost the same exact cabins, pretty close together. But it looks very well done. And this is more of a brighter shot. Looks like it's in the morning, maybe in the daytime. And the pathway that Leon walks down, they also has a path to the left, which looks like it does lead off to another set of doors, or at least it looks like doors in that corner there. And I love this. I mean, this is, again, a true moment to say, okay, no matter what, this game is going to look like it should for current gen consoles where we're at. And the RE engine has been looking better every game. I don't think anyone can deny that. So this gets me excited. And this is also a different angle. We didn't see this, I don't think, in the trailer. We saw it from the other perspective where the bell tower was from the right. So let's continue on here. And we didn't get this perspective either. So it looks like from the same pathway that you walk down, that right there is where you need the insignia key, that building right next to the bell tower on the right. So that's where you have to go, and then you end up going down under in the caves. So this is exactly what we expected. I really enjoy this. I mean, again, seeing the chickens running around still, and all of the again, you don't see a body in the fire there, but I have a feeling we might see some bodies roasting in the fire like we did when we played the original game. Because, the guys that drove Leon, they didn't make it out. And they ended up becoming some barbecue. So let's continue on here. This is a great shot. I think that this might be the first cabin. They're showing it for a reason. Leon does have, it looks like he doesn't have his gun equipped. At least I don't think so. Or he has his hand on the holster. But I really don't know where this could be in the village. But again, this looks like the first couple screenshots where it's, it looks like it's rained, it's muddy, it's, it's dark. There's the light coming out. You see smoke coming out of the chimney because there's a fire, so we know someone's in there. And lots of trees right in the middle of the woods. Looks like this guy is a butcher. You see a meat cleaver right there on the by all the trash can stuff. And again, it looks obviously a lot more creepy, a lot more run down. You get that vibe more because the visuals are so intense. They're very intense here. And again, the lighting is awesome. It's coming through the trees, and we see Leon open the door to this in the trailer, and it cuts to a Ganado facing the fire. So I'm assuming this is where he takes out the picture of Ashley, and he says, "Hey, have you seen this girl?" And the first attack happens here. It's very possible. Or it could just be further along. But that's just what I'm predicting here. This is a shot that we got from the trailer, and this is a shot of skulls, of human skulls hanging. Very macabre, very Texas Chainsaw. The hanging limbs or the hanging bones or whatever, just to show the grotesque nature of what happened to this village that was once innocent before it got turned over by the Las Plagas and the Los Illuminados. And, you can almost see with even the destruction what it once was. So this right here is the shot from inside the cabin or hut, or outside the hut/cabin, whatever you want to call it, where Leon walks in. So this looks like it is the first Ganado he comes across. And he is facing the fire, probably cooking some, some human remains or some animal stuff. Who knows what he's making in there? A big bowl of fuck, maybe. But what this is, I just think it's the intro. I think this is where the first attack is going to happen. Again, it looks a lot more run down. It looks nasty. It looks like how filthy you think a village that would be kind of like a shell of what it used to be. And seeing the remnants and seeing the filth and just like the rotting food, it adds a certain grit and grime. This is going to look even better than Village. I think this is gonna blow Village out the water, because this is already impressing me. So let's continue here. Great shot. This is a shot of Leon looking out the window, reflecting, and what we hear him say in the trailer about not making the same mistake again. He can't get those thoughts out of his head. He doesn't want to lose someone. He lost Ada. He thinks Ada is dead completely. And then he also, all the civilians and people that were lost in Raccoon City, and you have that survivor's guilt, and you have that stuff resting over you. And there's certain sides to Leon in the original Resident Evil 4 that were obviously, they were cool, and some of it was, more action movie-esque and quirky, but I like that the way Nick is playing him and the way they're writing him is obviously a lot more emotional, and you can see that he's really affected by Ada, and that death for him, at least he thinks she's dead. Obviously, in this lore here, they're keeping that continuation, but I like the fact that this does seem like a natural progression for Leon. And sure, I haven't played the game yet, but I think that just the way they're kind of portraying him, feeling this weight, and the Ashley mission in a way is just kind of gonna redeem that for him. I feel like that is not only just redeem Ada, but redeem, or maybe what happened, but just redeem himself over the whole Raccoon City situation where he felt like his hands were tied. You're a rookie cop and all this stuff's hitting the fan, and there's only so much you can do. And there was only so many survivors. The Raccoon City survivors is a small few, people that know the truth. And you're sitting there with that weight on your shoulders because of the cover-ups and everything with Umbrella, and everything falls through. So I like that they're adding that to Leon. You know, I think they're going to bring a lot more than what we got in the original Resident Evil 4. And that's great because they're reimagining the story in certain ways, but they're not changing that. You know, they're just kind of tweaking it and making it true to the original, like they said in the PlayStation blog release. So we know that this is the approach they're taking. This is a great shot. I love the shot in the original when he looks out the window, and I love this shot. And I think his coat looks badass. And I think Leon looks great. Even though we don't really see a full shot of his face, I think they're trying to go for maybe a, like, I think it's more of a damaged Leon. I don't think he's going to be a dark character, but I think he's obviously damaged. And that's the way they should kind of show that off, right? I mean, it's kind of the time to do that if you're going to remake this game that a lot of people love, and you can change certain things and not piss off fans and not make fans mad. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? You're always going to get criticism from either side, but I think this is a great progression for Leon. And the way he sounds in the trailer, where he's like, you know, I have to do it this time. You know, he has to continue, and he's going to do this mission. He has to. And you see him walking into the village like he's ready. All of the stuff that led him to this point of being a government agent, we're actually going to see him be up against this whole different threat. And I'm curious how they're going to make him react to the stuff that he's going to be seeing. Because we know in the actual lore that Leon gets infected, you know, in the lore and in the original Resident Evil 4. And it looks like that they're doing that too. So how is this Leon going to attack those issues? Literally. Well, we'll see. And that's why I'm very excited. This shot right here, this looks like the cemetery. This is definitely the church. I missed this in the trailer breakdown because it was so quick, but now that I'm looking at it, this is the church. This looks like it is the gates that lead up. It looks like it still has the front entrance, and it's showing all of the crows going through the trees. And again, it looks great. I'm sure we'll see some of these daytime and nighttime, but yes, this is the cemetery, which looks great. And it's a very iconic little area in Resident Evil 4, and it looks awesome. This is a great shot just because I think the way they designed Ashley in this is great. I like her design. I think they didn't change it drastically. They didn't have to. They gave her a completely different outfit. She's wearing, it looks like a red bandana with a orange, kind of like a orange coat with and she has, like, you know, boots on as we saw her running through the woods. Again, it's the lighting is very dark and it's hard to tell at first, but when you look at it, because of this picture, it confirmed that is her running through the woods. I think that this is going to be the picture that he shows to the first Ganado, just like in the original. And this is another screenshot that we didn't get, but this is the Los Illuminados insignia logo here. And this is an awesome shot. This wasn't even in the trailer. It was in the press release. And what can I say, guys? This represents everything that this game is about. You know, Resident Evil Village took a page out of RE4 without a doubt, and justifiably so, because it was a similar vibe, right? And now with this, now you're seeing this cult and this to be a representation of everything that they're worshiping, which is Lord Sadler. And Lord Sadler looks badass in this. And we haven't seen Salazar. We haven't seen Krauser. We haven't seen those characters. Salazar is definitely in here because we saw his castle, but, you know, how much is he in the game? Is he even in the game more? We'll see. You know, I don't doubt those characters will be in there. The only person I can see them kind of tweaking more is Krauser, because we don't really know a lot of his history by the time he shows up in RE4 until we got, you know, a Nintendo Wii game later that was an on-rails game that everyone knows as Dark Side Chronicles, and that kind of explained the backstory a little bit, which is cool. But when he shows up in RE4, you're just like, what the fuck? Like, who is this guy? And he knows Leon. So if they do Krauser, they can easily do that a lot better. And they can even do Salazar better, too. I liked how they did Salazar in the original, but they can even tweak it up. So Thank you so much for watching this video, and let me know what you think of the screenshots down below. Are you excited for Resident Evil 4 Remake? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and stay tuned as the road to Resident Evil 4 Remake begins. Stay tuned. A big shout out to everyone that supports me on Patreon and YouTube memberships. YouTube members grants you access to voting on content with custom badges and emojis for chats. Patreon gives you the same voting privilege, but even more. Gain access to uncut recording sessions, weekly exclusive Patreon shows, and live hangouts on Patreon. Tiers start at just $1. Thank you so much for your support, and I will catch you next time.